Let's get across the news of the day with Nick Cater from the Menzies Research Centre. Nick, we'll start with Peter Dutton saying he's ready to negotiate with Labor on their broken tax promise. Here is what he had to say earlier today.
Your own electorate is among those who are going to benefit greatly from these changes to the tax cuts, some 85% of them. You don't want to take money away from them, do you?
And we're not going to. I've been very clear.
So you're not going to stand in the way of these changes as a party?
I've been very clear that the Liberal Party is the party of lower taxes. We always have been. We always will be.
Nick, should he stand firm and defend the Coalition's original tax cuts, which are already legislated?
Well, he should stand firm and defend the Liberals' original tax cuts, but at the same time, I'd be very unhappy if a Liberal leader or a Liberal party stood in the way of tax cuts of any kind. That's not a good look. So I think the best thing is to negotiate to try and get this package better. Of course, the opposition does not have control of the upper house, and so can be outnumbered, but it should fight its hardest in the upper house, and then promise to reinstate the tax cuts in full when it gets back into government, which the way the Albanese government's going won't be that long.
Now, the Foreign Minister, Penny Wong, is hitting out at the opposition leader, accusing Peter Dutton of trying to score a cheap political hit. Her office has mounted quite a strong defence of the minister after Peter Dutton called for her to step down after the UNRWA funding scandal. How do you see this unfolding? I mean, her position is safe. She is not going to step down.
Well, no, but I think she should. I think this is scandalous that they push ahead with this funding. Does Penny Wong know, by the way, Rita, that it was the New York Times that broke this story, right? It's one of the friendly papers on her side of politics. And it needs to be taken notice of. Joe Biden's certainly taking notice of it. I think it'd be a very odd position. And a lot of European countries, it'd be very, very odd position if we just thumbed our noses and said, well, look, there's no consequence to this. We'll carry on funding. I mean, it's the kiddies after all, when we really know now. We've known for a long time, but there's more details in that New York Times report and in the Wall Street Journal that show that these facilities were being used to harbour terrorists, and that members of this UN body participated in the massacres of October the 7th last year.
Now, Israel's ambassador to Australia, Amir Maimon, has accused the Albanese government of forgetting Hamas's culpability for the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. He posted a series of comments on X, formerly Twitter, where he wrote, "At a time when Australia is coordinating with like-minded partners as well as UNRWA in response to the damning evidence of UNRWA employees participating in the October 7 massacre, it's worth thinking about the following. It's been 118 days during which the UN, its General Assembly and its many agencies have failed to condemn Hamas." And he went on to say the UN and many of its member states, including Australia, voted for a humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza that would only help Hamas to reorganise. There is certainly fractures in this relationship with one of our closest allies, Nick.
And these predate October the 7th, as you know, Rita. You know that they've shown a particularly cold attitude towards the Israelis, as far as I can tell, and particularly the approaches from the Israelis early on in their term of government to assist with defence cooperation. I mean, we could dearly do with some of that Iron Dome technology if China and North Korea were to carry out what they can do with their ballistic missiles. So, look, it's been a terrible relationship. But of course, what's happened is October 7th, and what you and I see is a very clear moral dividing line between the civilisation and barbarism. This is separating out the wood from the chaff, isn't it? Is that a right expression? You know what I'm trying to say? Because Labor is certainly coming down on the wrong side of this argument. It's trying to equivocate. It's trying to wrap itself up in some kind of moral yoga competition, to try and twist this way and that. But of course, unless you are explicitly backing Israel and condemning Hamas, then you are in effect doing the bidding of Hamas.